It is Y105, Dubuque's #1 hit music station. My name is Steve Pulaski. My next guest is a very popular YouTuber known for his reviews of contemporary and classic movies, and most notably his proclivity for the horror genre. Beyond that, he's known for ranking movies in specific franchises or all across the spectrum, and curates additional content on his Instagram and other social media pages. His personality is amiable, his reviews are direct, and his appreciation for his fans noticeable from the jump. He is Cody Leach. He joins us now. Cody, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Keep going. That was a good intro.
I appreciate that, my friend. I also have my girlfriend, Catherine, on this interview for if not for her, I wouldn't be a fan of your work. She's got some good questions for you, too, as well, Catherine, don't you?
Yep.
Awesome.
Cody, what was the last movie you watched, and how was it?
Oh, man. The last movie that I watched was Super Mario Galaxy. Took my wife and my kids to go see it on opening night, and it was all right. I can't say it was a great movie. It was a lot of just kind of flashy, low-hanging fruit, a lot of Nintendo references, fun Nintendo characters doing fun stuff, but not really much of a story. But I can't lie. Taking the family out, having going out for pizza, and then going to see a movie and seeing my daughter have a good time with it. Overall, I enjoyed it.
For those who haven't heard about you, Cody, give a little insight into your YouTube channel, what kind of videos you like to create, stuff like that. I want to give you a platform to promote your stuff.
Yeah, so I started it in 2016. I just always liked movies, always liked talking about movies, always kind of felt like the weird guy in the room because nobody was as passionate about it as I was. And so I just started doing YouTube videos, kind of somewhat starting out mimicking other channels that I liked, and eventually kind of found my style, found my voice, really got hooked whenever I started talking about horror and realized how rabid the horror fan base is, because that was always a huge love of mine that I could never really find too many friends or peers or classmates that was as into it as I was. So I always kind of felt alone as a horror fan, and then finding out that I was far from alone was kind of intoxicating. So I started just really diving into older horror films, and then eventually just started broadening horizons, trying to cover as many new films as possible. I like doing rankings with different IPs and franchises or different themes, just kind of pitting movies against each other, and try to find a lot of crazy ways to do little tier list videos, like ranking different horror subgenres or the settings of movies. I got one coming out later today, actually, that's I'm going to be talking about 130 different classic horror movie posters. So just finding any way possible to nerd out about movies and horror and storytelling.
So you go to a lot of different film festivals and conventions, stuff like that. What do you do to make the most of your time at the con, and what are some things you don't recommend doing?
Well, it's a little different. So conventions is really just a big hangout, especially when you go to some of the smaller ones. Like the big ones are great, but there's just so much going on, so many people that it doesn't feel as intimate. But you go to some of these smaller cons, like I've been to Mad Monster a couple of times. I went to Monster Palooza in LA, and it's just a bunch of fans hanging out. And you get the cool experience of seeing and meeting and talking with a couple of artists that you enjoy, whether it's filmmakers or actors. So that's just kind of spending a couple of days just living in your fandom. When it comes to festivals, oh man, that's something where I've had to almost build a little bit of a plan, because the festivals that I go to are typically a week, 8 days long, maybe even longer. And you can see 4 or 5 movies a day if you really want to, if you're really determined, and you'll find out quick how much you actually like movies or how much it just really exhausts you. And so I try to just formulate some kind of a plan on maximizing as many movies as I think are safe bets that I'll enjoy, but trying to experiment, throw a couple of random ones in there, try to broaden my horizons a little bit, see something that feels like it might be a little bit challenging, and you kind of have to just kind of go along with the pace. So if you hit 2 or 3 movies that don't work for you and you start to feel sluggish, you might want to back off a little bit, or you might start treating movies a little bit unfairly just because of your sour mood. And then other than that, it's kind of the same as a con. Every time the movie gets out, you just hang out with everybody else, talk about your thoughts on what you just saw and what they saw, and you hear hype for things that wasn't on your radar, and you start switching your schedule up. So festivals are exhausting, but they can be really fun and rewarding.
What are some of your favorite streaming services?
Oh, man, that's a loaded question. So streaming services are interesting because I think I subscribe to pretty much all of them, and yet I always feel like whatever movie I'm looking for, they don't have. So I think that even though they're constantly under fire for raising their prices, I think consistency-wise, Netflix is pretty hard to beat. They always got something new. They've always got their own original content that they're putting out. I'm a really big fan of Tubi. Tubi is a totally free streaming service, and to me, Tubi is like the closest thing that you can get to recreating like walking the aisles of Blockbuster in 2026, where it's just a bunch of random movie box art, and you just kind of click through and decide to watch something. It does have ads, but what doesn't nowadays? And HBO Max, I think, is pretty solid too. Disney Plus, if you have kids, if you have a family, I think is unbeatable because they just have such a huge, deep catalog. I wish they would just do a little bit better with their original stuff.
Speaking of going outside your house, what are some of your favorite theater chains?
Well, around here, I don't really have too many actually big theater chains. We used to have some Carmikes that were eventually bought by AMC, but they never updated them, so they're the oldest theaters around me. The theater chain that is closest to me that's actually like pretty quality is GTC, which is Georgia Theater Company. Most people probably haven't heard of them. They're probably not huge in the whole grand scheme of things, but they're pretty good. There's a Cinemark in Bluffton, South Carolina that I really like. That's one of the higher quality theaters. So if I'm going for some of the more mainstream chains, I would probably lean towards that one. And I've had some really good experiences with some Regals when I go out of town.
He's Cody Leach, YouTuber, film critic, and more. Cody, what is your background? What led you to making YouTube videos and becoming such a wildly successful creator?
Oh, there is nothing about my background that would lead you to believe I would do what I'm doing today. I have been pretty much everywhere in the workforce. I was a manager at Target. I went and did construction for 4 years. I was building airplanes for 4 years. So movies and content and everything was always just like this hobby of mine. I remember discovering in 2009, after I had dropped out of college, that people were actually using YouTube to talk about movies, and that blew my mind. And so I started consuming a lot of content. I had like a false start back then where I just had this very generic laptop and knew nothing about making content, but I was just making videos as like something to pass the time. And then in 2016, it was when I was doing construction, I was driving at least 4 to 5 hours a day. And so I just found myself really wanting to join the conversation with a lot of these podcasts and these YouTube videos I was watching. And so I just bought a little microphone and a camera off of Amazon and just started joining the conversation, never expecting it to go anywhere. And just slowly started to build it, started to treat it like a job and try to figure out ways to get better. And here I am almost 10 years later, and it's my full-time gig.
We've seen YouTuber Chris Stuckman make Shelby Oaks. We've recently seen this year Markiplier make Iron Lung. Cody, do you have any writing or directorial aspirations yourself?
Oh, I absolutely do. That's probably my biggest long-term goal. I think anybody that loves movies would always love the chance to make one. And so every time I go to a film festival, I always leave so hungry, just creatively. Like I just start having these ideas and these aspirations. I'm like, man, I want to do something like this. I want to be standing on that stage premiering a film one day. So I've actually been I've been reading some screenwriting books over the last couple of months. I read an entire one during my last trip to South by Southwest because I was in the airport for so long. And just yesterday, actually, I was talking with a really good friend of mine who's a fellow YouTuber, telling him that we need to just pick a date sometime this year and get together for a week or whatever in an Airbnb or some location somewhere and just hammer something out to just see where it goes.
That sounds like a movie plot in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know you're not the biggest fan of found footage movies, but I do have a recommendation for you. Have you seen the Scooby-Doo Project?
The Scooby-Doo Project? No, I have not.
Oh, it's so good. It's on YouTube, so you can watch it when you get done with it.
It is terrific.
Okay.
It is truly terrific. I know you're not a big found footage fan, Cody, but it's absolutely worth your time.
Is it actually like Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
mean, it sounds like a little on the nose, but is it just like somebody doing like a fan film version of the show?
No, it was actually premiered on Cartoon Network when it was first premiered, I guess. Okay. It's the actual characters and the voices are the same people from the show. And
oh, man. Yeah. Well, I'm a huge Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island fan, so you got me hooked.
In your opinion, have Easter eggs or fan service became a trope now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, speaking of Super Mario Galaxy, that was all that movie had to offer. I mean, like, it has its time and its place. You know, I'm somebody who absolutely gets charmed by it sometimes. I really enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine, and that was a film that, it has a story and it has character arcs, but it is very much like all the big moments are about fan service and cameos and returning side characters and references and all that stuff. And, I just think that the experience that we all had in 2019 watching Avengers Endgame, where everybody just came together and it was like watching a movie that was like a sporting event where everybody's just fist pumping and seeing these awesome moments and coming together and these viral videos of a whole theater losing their minds as a reaction. I think studios and audiences have kind of been chasing that ever since. And so whether you're talking about, Spider-Man, No Way Home, or things like Minecraft or the Super Mario movie, especially video game movies nowadays, it just feels like they've always struggled to figure out a way to narratively adapt video games to a movie. And so nowadays they've cracked the code of how to kind of get around that and still be successful, which is just show a whole bunch of stuff that everybody recognizes, and they'll have enough fun that they won't really care that there's much of a story. And that works for some of us, doesn't work for others.
And when or how do you think the trope becomes a trope or a cliche versus continuing another character's story?
I think it becomes a trope when it feels like it's just, that's now the goal. Whenever the last 2 or 3 big successful video game movies have all kind of had the same criticism, where the fans of it, whether you're talking about Minecraft or even Five Nights at Freddy's or now the Mario movies, where the fans of that property is just like, oh, I loved it because I got to see this thing and they referenced this moment and they showed this thing from the third game. And then everybody who is more of a movie fan or not pre-established as a fan of the universe comes in and says, there's just nothing here for me. Like, this is all just a bunch of jangling keys for people who are already your fans. Like, I got to have something else. And so I think it becomes a trope when we start to see a trend of every time we go to the theater, this is happening. And so I think we're right on that edge now, where if maybe 1 or 2 more movies come out from the video game worlds and this is the game they're playing, then we're there.
And then this is a argument I've heard several times, but a lot of people, including yourself, said that all the main 3 characters in Scream should have been killed off sooner. They did that at the beginning of Alien 3 and everyone hated it. How do you think it differs between each movie?
Yeah, I hear the Alien 3 example get used a lot when it comes to any kind of argument of a earned character death. I had the same argument when Terminator Dark Fate came out, but specifically with Scream, the major difference is whether you're talking about, they killed off one of these characters in Scream 5. So if you even want to go back to Scream 4, it's like we've had 4 movies, 20 plus years with these same characters, always surviving. Even when they get injured, they don't really have any kind of long-lasting damage. And I do think, especially when you have a horror film that's built on tension, that's built on the idea of making you feel like these characters might be in danger, I think you lose that if you start to have too many movies where the characters are walking away scot-free. And so that's the big thing with Scream was, love these characters, love what they bring, but it's kind of hard to get invested in all the emotions you're supposed to have with a horror film if I know they're going to be walking out smiling by the time the credits roll. And with Alien 3, that was taking a beloved movie, Aliens, with this amazing victory at the end of it, and then you sit down for the third one, and before the credits are even done rolling, they have killed off everybody that you cared about aside from Ripley. They've totally taken away the victory of the last film. They kind of make the journey, and whether it's Ripley or Newt's heroic journey in the second film, almost feel like it was a waste of time. So that was just like a total narrative assassination, in my opinion. So it's a very big difference between what Alien 3 did and certain franchises like Scream, where people are like, hey, love these characters, but they've been around a little bit too long.
Cody, you post a lot of your DVD and collectible hauls. What are some of your favorite places to buy DVDs and those collectibles? Do you use bookstores, resale shops? Do you do a lot of it online? What's your process?
I do all of it online. Unfortunately, around me, there's not really a whole lot of physical media places where you can actually walk in and buy it. You have all the retail stores that have slowly phased it out. Most of the more collectible stores around me, like downtown, are for vinyl, things like that. So luckily, over the last couple of years, I've discovered that there's a lot of these really nice online boutique shops. So whether you're talking about sites like Kino Lorber or Shout Factory, or my personal favorite at the moment is Umbrella, which is a Australian company. It really is geared towards people who just adore physical media, that want to have the best, coolest, most packed out physical media release of their favorite movies, because Umbrella especially are these really big, thick box sets that have booklets and all kinds of stuff in there. And it's $40, $50 sometimes for a release. But if you're like me and it's just about about preserving that movie, having it on your shelf for a rainy day, or just knowing that you have the best version of it available, that's the places you kind of have to seek out. And you got other online retailers that try to like compile a lot of those releases, like Diabolic DVD. So that is the best place to get them now. Amazon's still in the game. You could probably still buy a couple other online retailers like Walmart, but if you really want the cool stuff that not everybody's going to find, you got to find those boutiques.
Just a couple more with you. Again, he's Cody Leach, a movie reviewer on YouTube and across multiple different platforms. I know you get questions about, have you reviewed this or are you going to review that a lot, Cody? But I know there's a few movies close to Catherine's heart, and mine too, that we've been dying to know your opinion on. So I think there's like 3 of them, if you don't mind entertaining us here really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so last year was the 50th anniversary for Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I know you do a lot of like Thanksgiving movie reviews. This movie is a Thanksgiving movie. I'm not gonna lie, like it's nostalgic for me, so I like it, but I would agree like it's not like the greatest movie ever. But Alice's Restaurant is another good one for Thanksgiving, and then just a really fun time. Dinner in America.
Okay. Yeah, I actually never heard of a couple of those. I always find myself struggling on Thanksgiving. I feel like the only Thanksgiving movie you ever get is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, so I'm looking to add some to the list. If
you ever need any recommendations, you know where to find me. You guys did on the podcast, you guys were talking about thriller versus horror, and I think another good recommendation for that is The Little Girl That Lived Down the Lane. Jodie Foster's in it, and Martin Sheen. And basically, it's about this little girl that moves to this town and nobody knows who or where her parents are. And it escalates from there.
Oh, wow. It sounds horrifying for a kid.
Well, she knows where they are, but you don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope I didn't spoil much.
Yeah,
it's always an interesting little debate between thriller and horror, and people be very passionate on many sides.
Those are some good ones, though, Cody. We'd love your opinions on those. Lastly for you, my friend, what else should people know about Cody Leach?
Oh, man. Well, I think the thing that most people are surprised to find out about me, even though I do talk about it in a lot of Q&As and things like that, is that, the one thing aside from movies and storytelling and art that I'm as passionate about is cooking. I'm a huge cook. I love watching food content. Like, for as much as I'm in the movie world, when I'm just sitting down on my couch, I'm never really watching anything movie related on YouTube. I'm always watching cooking channels or cooking competitions or anything like that. And at some point in 2026, I will be launching my own cooking channel. I tried to launch it last year, but the weather kind of got in the way. But I've built an outdoor kitchen. Me and my wife have filmed a couple of videos, just kind of getting the kinks out. So that'll be a new venture that I'm gonna try at some point this calendar year.
I miss the Holly reviews on the movies.
Oh, man, yeah. I think everybody does, because she's just so polar opposite of me.
If you're looking at trying your hand at cooking, too, I don't know if you're familiar with the Taste Made Network. That's got a lot of DIY programming and stuff like that I think would be of great influence for you guys. Not just recipes, but just in terms of process and in terms of execution. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. I watch a lot of barbecue channels and a lot of, like, home cooks and everything, so I'm always just kind of sitting around just absorbing ideas all the time. So I don't know whenever we launch it how long I'll go before I have to look for some inspiration. But that's something that I'm looking forward to, and hopefully it'll be a fun new little no pun intended, a new little flavor of Cody for everybody. He is Cody Leach. Again, Cody, you're wonderful. I want to give you the final word to promote your YouTube channel, your Instagram. Where can people find you and follow you? They absolutely should. Even if you're just tangentially into movies, I think you come away with every single one of Cody's videos learning something of value. So, Cody, I want to give you the floor to promote your socials. Yeah, I appreciate it so much, guys. So just search my name, just Cody Leach, Leach on YouTube. I should be the first, 2,000 results, so it shouldn't be hard to find me. I also do short content on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And what I'd like to say is, I'm just a movie fan who's passionate, and if you're somebody that loves movies, loves storytelling, and you want to just see how maybe other people are looking at the same 90 minutes of art as you and getting a different opinion, that's what I try to promote on my channel. So if you want to talk movies and just enjoy relishing in fandom, come over. Again, he is Cody Leach. Cody, I greatly appreciate your time. I appreciate you too, Catherine, for the excellent questions and such as well. And I look forward to whatever comes next for you, Cody, whether it's a movie review or your upcoming cooking channel, my friend. Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. This made my whole day.